Finally, Bulova gives us what we've been asking for, or at least the general public has been asking for, a 41mm version of the Bulova Lunar Pilot. Originally, it came out in 45mm. They came out with a smaller version, which is around 43mm, which is true to the original. However, people still wanted a smaller Bulova Lunar Pilot, and today they have given us what we have asked for. This is a 41mm version of the very popular watch. I have one hands-on. It's called the Black Hole. So this is a limited edition that they are coming out with first, and then I would imagine eventually they will come out with a slew of different colors. The Black Hole is an all black version, and this one is really cool. I have one hands-on, so let's flip the camera and take a look at a highly requested watch, the 41mm version of the Bulova Lunar Pilot. So very lucky to have this watch on the channel so soon because it hasn't really been released yet. I've been very lucky with Bulova, and they've lent me some of their watches kind of early in some cases. Hodinkee was the only other outlet to feature this watch in an article. I am the first to feature this in video. This is the new 41mm Bulova Lunar Pilot. That is a big deal because they originally came out with it in 45mm, then they came out with it in 43.5mm, and finally 41mm. Now, this is not the true original size of the Bulova Lunar Pilot. In fact, that was the 43mm version. They came out with that first because it was closer to the original. The 45mm version was a pumped up version, and a lot of people like that watch. I actually own that watch. I own the 43mm version. Here is the 41mm version. I probably will end up owning this one as well. I like the 41mm case better than the 43mm case. In my opinion, it works a little bit better because overall, these watches do wear slightly larger than their size because of the bezels, or lack of bezel. You have a very thin bezel on all of these watches. You have a very high boxed sapphire crystal on these watches, so it does visually look larger than their dimensions. So this looks like a 42mm watch in my opinion, not really a 41mm because of the pushers, because of that bezel. So I'm very happy that they've come out with this in a size really the fans wanted. In the comments of all the videos that I've ever made for any Bulova Lunar Pilot up until today, and I don't know what the comments are going to be on this video, but they were all saying, let's get a smaller version, 41mm. And here we are. Who knows? Maybe they'll come out with a 39mm version in the future. Right now, they're at 41mm. And this is a sign of what's to come, right? This is all PVD coated, it's media blasted, it's black. So you have a black dial, you have a black case, a black bracelet. Everything is black. You actually have a Musso dial, which is one of those paints that absorbs like 99% of light. I think it's 99.4% of all light. And what that does is make this look very stealthy. But at the same time, it doesn't make it incredibly legible because what they've decided to do was put gray indices and hands. Because of that, it's not incredibly legible, especially in low light situations where the lume isn't bright enough to read. It's pretty hard to read this watch, but it's a limited edition, and I would imagine in the very near future they will come out with a stainless steel version that is brushed or media blasted. I think it will probably be media blasted because that's what the original was like, and that's what they're going to do with this eventually. This is a step in the right direction, and this is a limited edition. It's a limited edition of 6,000 watches. Yes, that seems like a lot. It's Bulova, so they will sell a lot of these watches, and usually they sell them out. So I would imagine eventually this will sell out, even though 6,000 limited edition seems like a lot. This gets 100 meters of water resistance. On the case back, you have a little bit of a tribute to Dave Scott, although I don't think they could really call out Dave Scott and say that this watch was worn by Dave Scott on the moon because of legal reasons. I'm not entirely sure. I know that they bought the original watch that was worn on the moon, but again, I don't think they could say Dave Scott, and they can't put Dave Scott on the case back, but Dave Scott was the one who wore the original 43mm version of the Lunar Pilot on the moon when his Omega Speedmaster failed. He had his personal watch, which was technically not his personal watch. It was a prototype that he was given by Bulova to try out, and he brought it with him to the moon, and he put this on his wrist rather than the Omega, which basically failed. The crystal popped out, so he couldn't use it, and he used the Bulova Lunar pilot instead. That story was a secret for a very long time, and then it became public. Bulova got wind of that, and here we are today. Now we're looking at a 41mm version of that watch. They have not come out with an automatic version of this watch yet. However, I am hoping that they do some sort of special edition in the near future with an automatic movement. This still gets the 262 kilohertz movement, which is exclusive to Bulova. It is their precisionist movement, which is a high precision quartz movement. You get a really cool sweep to the chronograph seconds. It's the NP20. They've used this in a lot of their watches, but they don't sell this outside of Bulova. So really, if you want this movement, this is the only place that you can get it. I've measured this watch a few times, and I measured in at 40mm a number of times, but depending on where you're grabbing it, it measures in at 41mm or just under 41mm. You have a 13mm thickness. It's just under 13mm. That's including the really boxed sapphire crystal, as you can see. And when you turn this watch on its side, like I was saying before, you have this thin bezel, but it's high off of the case. It is polished on the sides. It's really one of the few polished elements on the watch, that and the pushers. And then you have this very boxed sapphire crystal, which is really part of the design of this watch. I think it looks really good. I love the way that this watch looks on its side, and I love the pushers that they used. It looks really good. And again, you get a very large crown on here, 7.3mm, which is a very large crown. That is also polished. So the crown, the pushers, and that bezel are the polished elements. And then you have around a 47.8mm lug to lug. So the lug to lug is a true lug to lug because you do have female end links. So you could wear this on a strap or a bracelet, and it will wear pretty much the same on wrist. On wrist today, I have my collaboration that I did with the Gotham Watch Club, which is my watch club, and Chronofix. This is the Chronofix Diver. I wear this a lot. I really love this watch, and I think it looks great on the orange strap. And there it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. Even though this is a stealthy black watch, it's called the Black Hole, it still looks pretty significant on my 7.5-inch wrist. This is the 41mm version, but because of those crown guards, because of the large crown, because of that thin bezel, it looks like a 42mm watch, or maybe even larger. I would say it wears like a 42mm, or it looks like a 42mm, in my opinion. And that's the reason why the 43mm version wasn't as popular, or is popular, but not as popular with people with smaller wrists, because the way it wears a little bit larger. And that 45mm version wore larger than its dimensions. So overall, I think this wears like a 42mm version. And I think that's the reason why they made it in a 41mm version, because it does significantly wear larger because of the way that the crown guards, well, not really crown guards, the pushers look. And it does add width to the watch overall. I think it looks really good on my 7.5-inch wrist. Like I said, this is a 41mm watch. It has a 13mm thickness, including the sapphire crystal, and a 47.5mm lug to lug. So everything is loomed, but it's loomed with gray loom, so it's not incredibly bright. It's not dim, but it's not bright. I think that if they made this in a standard version with regular loom, it would look a little bit brighter. They can't use regular loom with this dial because I guess it would be more legible, but they wanted to go for a very stealthy look. That's why they're calling it the Black Hole, so the gray loom made a lot more sense. Gray is a mixture of white and black, I would assume. So black loom, not very good. Gray loom, a little bit better, but still not all that great. All of the elements are loomed. So the seconds hand, the chronograph seconds hand, they are all loomed. So that is very good and obviously semi-legible in the dark. Price on this is $1,650. However, it does come with a commemorative clock. So you're also getting a desk clock included with the package. So it's $1,650, but you are getting technically 2 watches for that money. I'll throw up a picture of the clock that they are giving you with that package deal, which is kind of cool. And I think that is for all 6,000 watches. So I don't think that's like a limited run or anything like that. I think if you buy this watch, you get the clock as well. I like that Bulova are listening to the public. They're listening to enthusiasts. I wish that they would come out with this sooner than later in a stainless steel version without any DLC coating, without a Musso black dial, without gray loom, just a standard version that looks like the original. I think that would look amazing. This is a 41mm version. It's still going to be a large watch for a lot of people. Eventually, if they came out with this in a 38mm version or 39mm version, I think that would be a big hit as well. And an automatic version. I really want to see an automatic version eventually because I think that that would be a pretty cool watch to get hands on with. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of what Bulova are doing and what they have done with this watch? I will put a link to the Bulova website down in the description below. I don't know if this is even on their website yet. If it is, I will put a link directly to that website. Eventually, this will be up there. Definitely check it out. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.